Okay, just wanted to do a quick mini lesson on dialogue rules as you are, well, we should probably do this before you write your story, so hopefully, well, I'll have this on there before then. But if it's after your story, you can go and review this again to make sure you are punctuating dialogue correctly. Because it is tricky, and you're probably going to make some mistakes, and that's okay. So I have a little mini lesson here about dialogue rules. We're going to go over the 5 big rules, and then you're going to have some time to practice on your own. So you will download this file onto your computer. It'll go to the the downloads folder. You open it up your own, so make sure you're just not writing. Don't do it in Teams because either it won't write or it won't save or it'll mess it up for everybody else. So make sure you download it first, and then you can use your own. It'll be your copy of it. All right, our first rule. A direct quotation begins with a capital letter. So notice, Jimmy shouted, that's the dialogue tag. We have a comma outside of the quotation marks. Sometimes kids want to put it inside the quotation marks there if it's the beginning. See you at the game. So quotation mark, capital, see you at the game, exclamation point, quotation mark. Okay, you don't need an extra period or on the outside. The final punctuation goes within the quotation. Is it true? Asked Cindy. You noticed if there's a question mark here or an exclamation point, they'll put that. If there wasn't, if it was just, is it true, like she wasn't questioning, or it is true, or I like cheese, or something like that, then that would be a comma there instead of that exclamation point. Rule number 2, when a quotation is interrupted into 2 parts with words like he asked or the teacher demanded, the second part begins with a lowercase letter. So this is another way you can put the dialogue tag. You can put it at the beginning, you can put it at the end, or in this case they have it in the middle, which is sometimes a nice way to shake things up so it's not the same all the time. So if you had this, you could take this out and put it at the beginning or put it at the end. In this case, they put it at the middle, so it'll change the conventions a little bit. So it says, what are some things, comma, quotation mark, Mrs. Baskin inquired, comma, quotation mark, that make school so much fun? You'll notice that this is not capitalized. One thing I like, replied Sarah, is recess. So notice again, not capitalized when you put the dialogue tag in the middle. Rule number 3. When writing dialogue, all punctuation marks at the end of the quotation go inside the quotation mark. Here's that comma one that I mentioned earlier. Let's visit the museum, suggested Samantha. John replied, didn't we go there last weekend? Notice there, comma there. But when we did, comma, Beth added, comma, we didn't see the ancient Egyptian exhibit. So they did all 3 examples of where to put the dialogue tag. At the ending, at the beginning, and in the middle. Rule number 4, do not put a period at the end of a quotation followed by things like she said, mom asked, he explained, etc. Use commas, question marks, and exclamation marks, but not periods. Periods end sentences. Okay, so sometimes people want to put a period, but you're not, because the end of the sentence is after the dialogue tag. Number 5, make a new paragraph, indent when a different person begins to speak. This is a tricky one for people. So we have a dialogue going back and forth between 2 people here. Last night I dreamt that I ate a giant marshmallow, Kevin said. So a new person is talking. If Kevin keeps talking, you don't need to make an indent. It's just him keep talking in that paragraph. Was anything like the dream you had eating your way through a mountain of fruit cocktail? Asked Susie. Scarier, Kevin explained. This time I woke up and my pillow was gone. Okay, so they have the opposite here. Okay, so this should be indented. Those 2 are a little Let me see if I can fix that. There you go. It should look like this. There we go. And then there you go. It should look like that. Look at me, editing the stuff on the fly. Other reminders, always make sure it's clear who is speaking in the dialogue. If you don't use a pronoun for somebody until you've introduced who that somebody is, and make sure if you're switching back and forth, it is important to make sure you know who the speaker is so it's not confusing. And try and avoid using said over and over and over again. Alright, so you're going to have some practice. Here's a paragraph that has no dialogue conventions. So you're going to, on your own, make sure this is after you have saved it. You're going to make your own. You're going to rewrite this. Well, you could just either fix it within here. That'd be fine too. Remember, this is your Word document. So you're going to practice. So you would need to put a quotation mark here. Okay, that kind of thing. So you're going to fix this paragraph as a practice using all the rules that we just said. Okay? We'll talk about that in class to make sure everybody's on the right page. Thanks, guys.